Hello and welcome to Stretford Paddock. My name is Joe. This is Round Our Way, and I'm not usually. Where's Jay?
You're not Jay. You're a hairier, taller, far more efficient presenter. As Jay is on his couch sweating the man flu away.
He's got all sorts going on with him, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Scotty, how you doing?
I'm all right, man. Good, better than Jay.
Yeah, we're all better than Jay. Jay's got some sort of nasty concoction, which means that he's like you said on the sofa. Been in bed for the last 3 days. But let's not worry about that. Let's talk about Cristiano Ronaldo, who's apparently fuming. I say reading between the lines. All you really have to do is read the lines that Ten Hag has said today in his press conference about Ronaldo being pissed off. I'll give you some quotes first so you know exactly what we're dealing with and people don't know what we're dealing with, and then give me your thoughts on this and, are they sort of valid opinions that Ronaldo seems to hold? So Ten Hag was asked about Cristiano Ronaldo. He said he's not happy that he wasn't playing on Sunday. Of course, he wants to play and he's annoyed when he's not playing. It's clear. But when I tell you all the players, when you're here and you're happy or satisfied, when you're on the bench, this is not a club where you have to be, and especially Cristiano Ronaldo. He's really competitive, as we all know. He's not happy, of course, when he's not playing, but I already said, and I have to repeat, he's training well and he has a good motivation to give his best. That's what we expect. He's not happy that he wasn't playing on Sunday, of course. He's annoyed. What do you make of that?
He should be annoyed that, that's what you want your subs to be like, isn't it, really? Yeah. Regardless of Cristiano Ronaldo's legacy, any player that doesn't make it onto the pitch, you want to have that ambition to get on to play. But obviously, given his history as one of the greatest players of all time, I think that adds to the extra level of frustration. But does his performances leading up to the game warrant a start? I don't think so. But I thought it was odd that he didn't bring him on, to be absolutely honest. And the excuse that Ten Hag gave afterwards, that it was a bit disrespectful, especially when he bought Casemiro on, who's won everything but the World Cup. He's got a similar sort of esteemed career. Yeah.
He also said he wants to play and he's pissed off when he's not playing. So he did go as far. Like, the initial thing about, of course he's not happy. He went, he's not happy that he didn't play on Sunday, don't get me wrong. But the question was about his mood in training where he's happy. Of course he wants to play and he's pissed off when he's not training. I love that. Really, Ronaldo's absolutely fuming, don't you? Because if a manager says someone's pissed off, they're probably 2 or 3 notches above that.
Do you think that Ten Hag's not telling the truth to the press and start trying to keep everything behind closed doors? Obviously, with all the rumours that Ronaldo wanted to leave in the summer, I think he sort of put himself behind in the pecking order when it came to that. Anyway, I think it might have been due to the way Ten Hag wants to play football, but I don't think he's done himself any sort of favours.
No, the whole thing about wanting to go and then not going, and his agent apparently going around Europe trying to get him a place at pretty much any club that would have him. It's hard to come back from that, isn't it? Yeah. Especially when you're a player that doesn't suit the manager's style. I can't imagine there's any hope of him staying now.
It's like if you turn around to your wife and say, right, well, I want a divorce. Yeah. And then you go out there and find out that you can't get a better suitor, and then come back and say, can I get off the couch now? You
go, I'm leaving you. Who for? Just give me a few weeks and I'll tell you. And then you go back and go, no one really seems to want to
check Tinder, and I wasn't getting any swipes.
Yeah, I barely got any matches, so can I stay? I can stay, probably can't.
Yeah.
We didn't officially get the divorce. Yeah. And they go, yeah, fine.
And that's why he's not playing in the bed?
Yeah, exactly. That's why other people are playing instead, which, really is all you can ask for. Someone said, who's that bloke with long flowing locks? Where's Jay? We'll go back to the start of the video and you can find out. But Jay's basically ill. Yeah. The illest I've ever known him. We've got a few more pre-match quotes from Ten Hag. So he says, he thanked Pep for a reality check, which, sort of shades of David Moyes to this. He says, now we get a reality check with Manchester City. We know we have to step up. So thank you for the lesson, Pep and City. We'll take that, and we have to understand that we have to do things much better. What do you make of thank you for the lesson, Pep and City?
It is so David, it's Dutch David Moyes, really, isn't it? I mean, there's been a few sort of times he's come out in press conferences and I thought, just stop, please. It is quite embarrassing. Obviously, it was evident that they kicked our ass, and we don't need to come out again and sort of say, thank you for whooping our ass. Why? What do you benefit from that?
Thank you, master. Yeah. Thank you for what you've taught me. It's very sort of like Star Wars, isn't it? Yeah. It's very like Lord Vader. Thank you for your lesson, master. I will return stronger than ever before. You strike me down, I will only return stronger. So in a way, thank you. Yeah, we've learned our lessons. We will come back stronger. Very weird that, innit? I mean, if that was another manager, you'd think he'd get a lot of stick for that. If that was Ole saying that.
Or Ollie would have got rinsed. If he said,
He destroyed
I mean
that.
David Moyes got it, didn't he, when he said,
Yeah.
like, sit is the bar that we sort of need to aspire to. And
Yeah.
Moyes got ridiculed for it. So Ten Hag should do exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I like Ten Hag, so I'm not going to ridicule him for it, but I'm sure people will. And really, you're saying thank you for losing. It's a bit mad, isn't it? It's a bit like primary school teacher, everyone's a winner. In a way, losing is just as good as winning because you learn more. They won't have learned anything from that.
He might as well have come out and said, well, we did win the second half.
Exactly.
We learned that.
I think in a way, there was a moral victory for us. They may have won, but we're not owned by sports washing multi-billionaires. He also said, talking about Ten Hag, talking about Varane, Maguire, Wan-Bissaka and Van der Beek, they're not available for tomorrow. Varane he said, I've got good hope he'll be back soon. Maguire will take a bit longer, and the other two, I cannot give an update. Wan-Bissaka and Van der Beek, just no update even available for them. They're so gone. He don't even ask the medical team where they are anymore. They could just be on holiday in Cornwall.
Just on the golf course, them two, aren't they?
They're not even injured, they're just at home. Like, that's mad, isn't it?
But Maguire and Varane, I mean, Varane's a concern given his injury form last season, and he didn't put a time frame on it, but he hopes him to be back soon. That's worrying going into the next few games, because prior to the City game, I think that was sort of the foundation that we were building our previous results on.
Yeah.
And obviously they folded like a deck of cards against Man City, but that does cause for concern.
It is. Someone says, don't be a coward, Joe. Call him out for it. Well, we did, kind of.
I did, Joe.
Oh.
You sat on the fence.
I didn't sit on the fence. I said, it's a stupid thing to say, but because I like him, it isn't making me mad. I can't pretend it's making me mad if it's not.
Right,
it's stupid and it makes us look weak. But we are a bit weak, so...
Did you say that about Moyes at the time?
I don't remember what I said about Moyes at the time. But also, you can't... I think you have to bear in mind what they both won. And David Moyes is looking up at the pinnacle of a league that he's never sat on. Whereas Ten Hag, I know he's never won the Premier League, but he's a manager that is saying this with the experience of winning trophies and being in their leagues, Man City. Like, it is different. He's thinking, I know that we need to be there because I've been there. I know how to get there, or certainly I know what teams have to do to get there. Moyes is going, aren't City good?
Yeah,
like
drooling.
Yeah, it felt like the whole job was he was just grateful to be here. I haven't felt that with Ten Hag leading up to now. So I'm not just going to change everything I think about him based on one quote. So I think.
Have you ever heard another manager get their team's ass kicked and then thank?
I've never heard of that.
That
is no, I've never heard that. It's really David Brent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really David Brent. Thanks for winning.
Yeah.
Thanks for beating us. Oh, thanks for that. Yeah, that's really the last thing we bloody wanted. I think he's just been sarcastic like Kevin and Perry. Oh, thanks. Beating us 6-3. God, we just had an international break and now this. Cheers, Pep. I think he's like that. Bruno Fernandes was also part of the press conference, and he said, talking about the armband, the responsibility is playing for this massive club. We're all feeling it, and we have to share that. It doesn't matter who wears the armband on the pitch. Does it matter who wears the armband on the pitch? Because he's wearing it, so obviously, there was a selection process, and he won.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not too sure if it's the same as it used to be in terms of captaincies. In football, really, you look at days in the past, obviously, the Roy Keanes, Gerrards and Vieiras that were leaders on the pitch. I don't think they have that many sort of type of captain leaders in the football anymore. But I still think it's an honour. You want the person on the pitch who's wearing the armband to be a representation of what the manager wants. And Fernandes, as captain, the armband's in the air half of the time when he's just throwing his arms up, just whinging.
He loves that though, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That's his thing.
Do you not think it reminds you of that when you go past car washes, the inflatable them?
Always just flailing about and waving
That's
his arms.
pretty much.
He is a bit like that, isn't he? You should put an armband on one of them and do a little video about it.
Yeah, I don't think there's too much competition for captains.
No, because the more senior players in terms of appearances would be Rashford, but after the season he had last year, it would be difficult to give it to him.
Yeah.
The other one's De Gea, but he looks like he's basically up for grabs and on the cusp of being replaced whenever we've got the funds available.
Yeah. Do you do it on
personality? Ronaldo in terms of appearances for United.
Do you do it on personality or ability, captaincy?
I think it's probably 70% ability, 30% personality. Because I think there are people who had great personalities for United who maybe could have been captains, but you wouldn't have given it to them because they weren't good enough.
Yeah.
Like maybe someone like Nicky Butt, who maybe could have been captain, but probably wasn't quite good enough as a player. Whereas someone like Giggs is probably the opposite, or Scholes maybe, where ability-wise, there's one of the best ever.
But he's not the leader of
but
men.
Wasn't the sort of the leader, the vocal leader that you would need to be a captain.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
Well, I always thought similar to you, but then when David Beckham got the England captaincy, now you wouldn't think Beckham, doesn't roar at players, but he very much led by example, and that goes back to the sort of the ability.
Yeah, I think it's more ability than anything else. But obviously you have to have that 30% edge of when people look at me, I can bring them back up in those sort of dire moments. Let us know in the comments actually what you think. How much of it is ability and how much of it is personality about who should be a captain for United? Thinking like Neville was probably more personality than ability.
Yeah.
I mean, Young, I don't know. I guess personality.
Well, it is a talent in itself to encourage your teammates.
Yeah.
And something I think we've been left wanting for several years.
Yeah. Wahili Man says Levenshulme Posse.
Levenshulme Posse, yeah?
Yeah, I'm part of the Levenshulme Posse.
Are you there now?
Well,
on the brink?
We're in an absolute interest rate nightmare going on at the minute. So thanks to the current government for that. I think I might be part of the Levenshulme Posse very soon.
You did. You're trying to move to Levenshulme 10 years too late. You'd have no problem with interest rates.
I know.
A decade ago.
But I also was, had no money 10 years ago.
You still probably could have moved to Levenshulme.
Yeah. Could have just walked into one of the sort of free houses.
I say that as a current tenant, by the way.
Yeah. Liam Dunn says, Maguire, 0 ability, 0 personality, 100% Ole's mate. I mean, he wasn't his mate when he got signed, was he? He gave him the captaincy straight away. He didn't even know him then.
No.
It was an odd one, but
I agree with that. I think because of his stature and what he does for England, I think that's why Maguire gets the captaincy. But he just doesn't scream leader or someone I want to turn around to and gear the team up. It goes missing quite a lot, especially when his head's dropped.
Yeah, well,
which seems to be. I don't think he's come back from. Is it Mykonos?
No, never quite returned, did he? Fernando's talking about the process of things turning around at United. We start this season with a project. It's clear that we want to make a standard with the manager, an idea of play, and everyone has to be on the same page. The Premier League is not that easy. We need to be at that high standard. We had those 4 consecutive wins, and now we have this setback, but it hasn't changed our ideas, our way of play, and what we want to do as a team. I think it's a process. We have had 3 months with the manager. The team is doing well. It's tough because it's a derby, but now it's the time to get back and win tomorrow. It feels to me like those 3 goals in the second half have changed massively how everyone is talking about that game. Like, if it was 6-1 or 6-0, I think these quotes would be like, you couldn't, it's tough because it's a derby, but now it's time to get back and win. I feel like there'd be a lot more grovelling, a lot more like, this is a terrible setback, But even just talking to other fans, it feels as though it was a big loss, but not a completely disastrous one. How do you feel about it?
Do you not think that that's a blinkered view, though? Because City obviously took the foot off the gas. So I don't think the 3 goals that we got back were an indication.
But the difference is,
Martial scoring was obviously a good thing.
I think the difference is last season Liverpool took the foot off the gas and they still won 5-0.
Yeah.
City took the foot off the gas and they still won 2-0 and it felt like 10-0 or what was it, 4-1. Like, in the past, teams have taken the foot off the gas, Liverpool and City in particular, but we've had nothing to give to even get consolation goals. Like, we were consolationless.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, you're right, comparatively to under Solskjaer, I don't think we would have come out with any sort of enthusiasm to try and go on and score.
No.
So, yeah, it's a sliver of a silver lining in a shitstorm.
It's barely a silver lining. You go, is that a silver lining? Oh, no, it's just a bit of fog. It's not quite a silver lining, but it's something. I like fog. Someone says McTominay's 40% ability, 60% getting stuck in. Yeah, he is. Everyone's a sort of combination of that, aren't they? Bruno's now got the tenure to take the armband too. Do you think he's going to get it full time? Because obviously Maguire's out for what seems to be a few weeks minimum. Bruno's. Do you think he'll take it off him?
I'd say so, because I think out of all the players on the pitch, I think Bruno looks the most industrious and seems to get around a lot. So as a captain, you want that to sort of interact with all the other players. Like I said, I can't see anybody else stepping forward that would take it, really. Casemiro would be a shout, but he's not been there anywhere near long enough, and I think he's probably a little bit too old to sort of ingrain himself in the culture to be a captain. But you think that the gravitas of what he's won and experienced, but obviously he's struggling to get into the starting 11.
I know. I think at that age, I think Varane's a similar one where unless you give him the armband straight away, you just hope that they bring that kind of like mentality rather than they can't really get in, be settled, and then be the captain's armour for 2 years.
You earn the captaincy, don't you, at a
Yeah.
football club? I think it's very rare where someone comes into a club
right.
and gets the captaincy straight away.
Yeah.
I can't think of too many players, unless the managers brought a player with a lot alongside them.
Does it make you sad about Ronaldo? Not sad, but like it's all I don't know. There was before he came back, my thoughts on Cristiano Ronaldo at United were sort of almost perfect.
Yeah.
Like this sort of unblemished, continually upward trajectory to the 2008 Champions League final. Obviously, then that sort of 08-09 season was a bit choppy, but we still won the league.
Yeah.
And he left after a Champions League final. Now, how have your thoughts changed?
I was over the moon when he came back, as every single Man United fan did, and bought into the romance and stuff. But it's just turned into The Last Dance if it was produced by Channel 5. Do you know? It's just turned into a bit of a tragic comedy. The Last Dance.
Yeah. That's pretty much it, isn't it? Banter FC.
Yeah. So it's bittersweet, and I don't think he's helped himself at all.
No.
Fully understood, and I've said it plenty of times on this channel, understand the reasons why he wanted to go. I think he left it far too late to make his decision or to announce it or for it to get leaked, because he'll have made his mind up once it was apparent that we're not going to make Champions League football. So it's just the way that it's all gone about it. Last season, leading goal scorer, he did everything he could in a really struggling team. But it's just not worked. And I think for the better of Manchester United, for the better of Cristiano Ronaldo, he just needs to leave in January, as I think he should have done in the summer.
Isn't it weird that a player who was our top goal scorer last season, I think the next highest was like Bruno or McTominay or someone on like 6-7 goals. He was the highest by a big margin, 15 plus goals, I think. And yet, no one is bothered that he's not playing this season. Like, is that surprising, or what does that say about him? Because I can't quite get my head around. I think the same, where I'm like, yeah, it makes sense he's not playing. But all the players that are playing for us now, Sancho barely scored last season, Rashford barely scored, Anthony is unproven from the Dutch league, and yet no one's really going to take one of them out and put Ronaldo in.
I just think that it's counterproductive to have him in the starting lineup now if we're trying to build a team towards the future. Ten Hag, and I think Fernandez has said it, and many of the players, it's a process that's going to be built over 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 years. And I don't think you can do that with what is a really aging striker up front. I'd rather, if we are going to bleed the younger kids through, or not even kids really now, and have them as our starting 11, I don't think we're going to win anything this season. So I think we just need to embed the culture of what Ten Hag wants, rather than relying on Ronaldo as we did last season. And it was also the narrative when he came back last year, and I was frustrated by it. There's a lot of articles saying that he made Man United slower and that everything had to go through him.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was complete at loggerheads and basically getting blocked and arguing with journalists left, right and centre on Twitter over it, because I had his back, do you know what I mean? I thought, I think you owe him an amount of respect considering what he's achieved in football. But you look another year on, and the games that he's played so far this season and what Ten Hag wants to play, we've got to look forward, and I just think that it's too much holding on to the past.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you say an aging striker, I could imagine Ronaldo being the first player to have sort of a part bionic element to his physicality, because he's so on top of all that and he's so on the cutting edge of technology. Would you be surprised if he came back half robot, sort of Elon Musk? Like
I was going to say,
Robo-Naldo, something like that.
Rob Naldo? What question are you asking me? Would Ronaldo come back as a robot?
Yeah. It's just like,
maybe he is a robot.
Sue.
Yeah,
Sue.
Yeah.
Can someone restart it? Sue. He just keeps robos. I won't even ask you that question. Daniel Kirk has been a member for 12 months.
Strangest question I've ever been asked on any.
Don't know. I just saw that Elon Musk thing on Twitter the other day, and I thought, if anyone's going to get hold of that, it's Cristiano Ronaldo, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? I think Varane will be back next week. Valencia captain was 50-50 in terms of ability and personality. Remember, he was our whole right side from 2016. Yeah, that was a mad time, wasn't it? When he was just...
I loved Valencia, though.
I did.
The sweetest right foot, the only foot, like right foot.
Yeah,
but,
he didn't have another foot.
But it was sweet for crossing the ball and then getting assists.
Yeah. I think in response to asking if Ronaldo could come back as a robot, David Fee has commented, no. Resonating silence with the super chat says the manager was left defending his statement about not bringing on Ronaldo because of respect. It was a bizarre statement, that. What did you make of that?
Yeah, I'm again very...
A couple of bizarre statements from him.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Very Moyes or Brent-esque.
Yeah. Losing a big game like that by a big margin.
Yeah.
It's like it sort of rattled him a bit on it.
I just don't see the logic in saying that about Ronaldo. It was out of respect for his career. I mean, if you're the manager, fuck all that. You know, you get him on the pitch and you throw all your tools on to try and win the game or make it less embarrassing. So there was no logic behind it.
I wonder if there's part of him that didn't want to come out and say, I just don't think he's got anything to offer for me anymore, because of maybe he thought he was worried about the backlash from fans and from the media of saying that United's current top goal scorer from the last 12 months is completely worthless to him. I can't, because otherwise I don't understand that, respecting his legacy. Like he's never lost big games before.
You're the manager. You can turn around and say, I decided not to put him on the pitch because I make them decisions, and he doesn't have to answer any more questions. You know, you
and
don't
he's a
have
bit like
to...
that as well, Ten Hag, isn't he? He's more than up for like
just shut him down.
Question. Yeah, bit weird that.
It's worrying though. I wonder what other catchphrases we're going to get like down the line.
What if he's going to be one of the managers that's a bit... Why did he say that? Although a lot of the top managers are a bit, why did he say that? Because they're all a bit radical, weird nutters, aren't they? Like Klopp, some of his quotes, if he wasn't winning, like if he wasn't winning trophies, saying the grass was too long, it was too windy, like some of the stuff he says, I put my socks on the wrong feet, all these excuses he puts out for losing. If that's a team getting relegated, he's a laughing stock. But because they're winning games, you can kind of get away with it.
So you're saying it's a good thing that Ten Hag is coming out with these ludicrous...
You know what? I'm not saying that, but I'm saying...
Again, another sliver of a silver lining.
I'm saying that maybe it's not as stupid as it looks, because every football manager is a bit of a nutter.
The most successful ones, really.
Yeah, the top ones are. Yeah, the ones where you're like, that makes a lot of sense.
I mean, you look at Ferguson with the Van Persie when he could have killed him.
Could have been killed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the ball was kicked towards his head. See? In a way, Ten Hag's just,
just following Ferguson's steps, right?
Yeah, exactly. Someone says, Joe not playing Ronaldo affects his mood and confidence. Watching him play, you can see he's not confident at the moment, because a confident Ronaldo takes shots first time and doesn't take many touches. Yeah, there was that. What game was it the other week where the ball's coming to him and he's trying to take a touch and it's bobbling away from him, and it's weird to think that Cristiano Ronaldo could ever be lacking confidence, but he definitely is, isn't he?
Is he not fit? Is he fit though, do you think?
Surely. He's been back. It's been
a while now,
like 2
hasn't it?
months.
Yeah,
now,
you'd hope so. I just find I struggle to believe that man lacks any confidence.
But that's because
robots don't have confidence.
But deep down, you think he is a robot.
Yeah.
You think he's a droid. But really, he's just skin and bone and Botox.
He's human like all of us, Joe, isn't he? Yeah.
In a way, Cristiano Ronaldo's just like the rest of us. What do you think you've got in common mostly with Cristiano Ronaldo?
The colour of my hair.
Similar sort of hair.
And that's it.
Texture as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, very similar, actually. Yeah, I've got nothing. Absolutely. Look at eyebrows.
Yeah.
That's about it. Very good. Someone says robots don't need confidence. Maybe they do. Maybe that's where we're going wrong. Sometimes if you pat your toaster on the side and go, well done, it actually toasts more consistently the next time. I don't know.
You try to see if that works in my kettle.
I will. Oh, I hate kettles. Absolutely can't bear them.
Oh, irons. Oh, fucking don't.
Do you iron?
Do you iron? Do you not?
No, I don't iron. I
Really?
typically don't iron. No.
And you're always very sharply dressed. You're known as the snazziest chap on Stretford Paddock.
Yeah.
Amongst the wider circle of people I know.
Stretford Wazzock.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't particularly iron. Have you ironed that?
I iron.
Did you iron your jacket?
Yeah. I mean, it was creased to shit because the kids were sat all over it in the back of the car.
Right, okay, see, I avoid that.
Not kids.
And cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no
Kids,
kids.
cars and irons.
Train. Yeah. Someone says, Joe, you need to iron, mate. Come on. I love that. So serious, so to the point. Come on. Joel Zapster says, I tap my toaster and say well done, but it comes out lightly toasted. That's a shame. Maybe you've turned the dial down in the tapping process.
Do you like heavily burnt toast, or are you a light brown?
I'd like... it's sort of 10 is Marcus Rojo delivering breakfast in bed to his girlfriend. 1 is that kind of where it's still basically white, basically bread. I would say I'm probably an 8.
Yeah.
I like it. I like a real snap to it.
It needs to be a crunch to your toast, doesn't it? Otherwise, it's a waste of time.
I like the butter to be radically tarnished by a sort of reintroduction of the nice knife post spread.
Do you put the knife back into the butter?
Yeah.
Good lad.
Because what I think I can do is, if I press down hard enough, I can collect the crumbs from the last wipe on this sort of gather of
quick enough.
Of the
Yeah,
butter.
it's a talent, that.
I think I can do it. I can beat the system, but generally speaking, I actually can't beat the system at all. Looking forward to tomorrow. How keen are you on the Europa League? Are you a sort of naysayer, a denier?
Well, as chances to get Champions League football, I think it probably could be our best chance to get into it, really, looking at how the league is. Because I think we'll be up and down all season. I think we'll definitely qualify through the group. I don't know. If I could choose one out of the two, I'd rather finish top 4 than concentrate on the Europa League.
But do you think as a sort of a way to bounce back for the league, this game tomorrow is? I think it's quite big.
Yeah, it could be. But do you not think that he's not going to play the same team, is he?
No.
So they have to come out with a performance regardless. And I don't think Ten Hag's team talk has to be anything but be better than that shower of shite you put out on Sunday, really. Like, the embarrassment alone should be enough to go on, a decent result.
This is the part of the show where you and Jay usually talk about being mank for a sort of 10 or 15
Well, you will struggle with that then.
I might struggle with that bit. What's your favourite bit about Manchester? What's your favourite thing about Manchester?
My favourite thing about Manchester?
Yeah, because I think a lot of time,
the sense of humour, the ability to take the piss out of each other and it be a term of endearment. I never found that anywhere else around the country. Like, I've lived in Nottingham, London, other places, and when I've ridiculed someone in a nice way, they've really took offence to it. Like, in Manchester, a dickhead is a dickhead. And I like when I leave here and say, I like you beautiful bunch of bastards. It's a nice thing to say to each other. But I had the ability to take the piss out of each other. How about you as a...
Well, I'll say...
A migrant...
Scotty and Motty has commented, so I assume that's Jay, unless you're...
Yeah, I'm commenting myself.
In front of me. He says, you're an honorary mank, Joe. What my favourite thing about Manchester...
Why did you move here?
Good bars. Well, I moved here mostly because of Man United and uni. So I thought, well, where shall I go to uni? Why would I go anywhere other than Manchester? I like it. United's there, and I wouldn't mind living there. So I came up for uni, but obviously with United in mind as well. But yeah, the nightlife's pretty good as well.
I think it's a lot cooler place now to live than it was when me and Jay were growing up.
What was it when you and Jay were growing up?
There's a lot of seedy bars and a lot of like dark areas.
That's quite good though, a bit of that, isn't it? Or is it not? Is it better to look back at rather than be in?
Well, as Jay's watching, I'm pretty sure we look back through rose-tinted spectacles and we made the best of a bad bunch of bars. Let's put it that way.
That's not bad.
But yeah, I mean, a lot more scraps seem to go on during this.
There's not much fighting in the streets these days, is there, anywhere?
No, but I think Instagram's sort of been something to do with that, because nobody wants to get caught.
Yeah, no one wants to go to prison. Well, you don't want a big fine, do you, for fighting someone outside a bar? Footy Gangster says it rains all the time, which is cute. And then
which is cute. Yeah, love that.
Scotty and Motty, so Jay says rose tinted equals drug hazed.
Potato.
It's very similar. Two very similar concepts, really, aren't they? Jay, if you're in the comments, give us an update on how you're feeling out of 10. We love an out of 10 rating. How are you feeling, and what are the current symptoms that you're experiencing?
What's a 10? Death.
10 is death. Obviously, you can't, you therefore can't go with a 10. And 1 is, Michael
Ronaldo
winner.
Michael Ronaldo.
He always seems chipper, didn't he? I think he's dead now, actually, so he would be a 10 and a 1. Interesting. It's Jacob O.C. says, Ross, what's wrong with Jay? Well, he's about to tell you what's wrong with him. He's got some sort of flu. Someone said, is it Manscaped infection? No, it's not. No such infections exist because of their reduced Nick technology. This is not a sponsored show. Someone says, Ten Hag is lying. Ronaldo is unhappy. Ten Hag literally says he wants to play and he's pissed off when he's not playing. He also says he's not happy. So he isn't lying. Of all the things to criticise Ten Hag for on those quotes, lying about Ronaldo being happy isn't one of them. He's not happy that he wasn't playing. Jay's still writing out his big message about how he is. He says he was a 10, but this vid got him to a 1.
That's good.
Isn't it? So he should be in for tonight, apparently.
Yeah, all right.
I
was enjoying this. I didn't want him to come back.
I know. Do you miss him when he's not here? You can say that. I don't mind.
Not really.
That's great.
Bit of variety.
It's nice to have a bit of variety, isn't it? He also says, yeah, he's not coming in tonight, unfortunately. We will be back tonight though for Paddock Live, going through all of the latest stories and looking ahead a little bit at the game tomorrow as well. Thank you for having me.
No, it was a good laugh, man.
It's nice. It's good, isn't it? We've talked about a lot of things today.
Educational, Robot Ronaldo, your lack of ironing.
I don't iron at all.
Jay's well-being and some football. I mean, what more could you want?
Yeah, that's true. Someone says, who is Jay? Great question.
Who is Jay?
Yeah, that's V Cobra says great.
That's Jay's biography, that, isn't it?
Who Who is Jay?
Who is Jay?
I love that. Jay's not there because he's washing his hair. Andrew, it's very Route 1. It's a tapping, but I still like it. Cheers, Scotty, for coming on. Thank you for having me on the show. Thank you for watching us. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Jay will be back for this show next week, but I'm sure he'll be back before then as well if you can't wait to see more Jay. And also, if you haven't already, check out the Scotty and Motty podcast, the one that Jay's commenting from. So tap on that and end up on the
if you're
channel.
watching, get a link in there, you lazy
Yeah, let's
sod.
get a link to this Scotty and Motty podcast, please, Ethan, before we
Sorry,
go.
I meant Jay at home. I didn't mean that.
He's called you a lazy sod now.
No, I didn't mean it, Ethan.
So we're on it, but make sure you check that out as well. We'll get that in the description as well. If you aren't watching live, make sure you check out the Scotty and Motty podcast. Some big plans coming up with that soon, from what I hear.
Yeah. We're trying to do a little bit more on the content, but yeah, it's been good presenting with you, Joe. You can give me some jiu-jitsu tips off camera.
Are you going to jiu-jitsu? Oh yeah, wait, we've got to talk about that. You're going to jiu-jitsu?
Carrying on now. Yeah. Well, I know absolutely nothing about jiu-jitsu, but you're an expert.
When you say expert, I went to 4 lessons and was told by a doctor I had to stop.
So that's more experience than me.
That is some level of expertise. It's great. Where are you going?
Place in Chadderton, I think, in Oldham.
Chadderton.
Yeah.
You'll be an absolute black belt in no time. That'd be great if you come in. Have you got to are you wearing the gi?
Well, tonight I was just going in with my gym gear, and but that was the first thing I told all my mates. I'm going to start jiu-jitsu, and I thought, I can't wait to see you in your Karate Kid outfit.
It's going to be so good coming in, doing this show next week with your karate outfit. Thing turned around your head, you just bow into Jay instead of saying hello to him. That's going to be fantastic. Complete change of personality in a single week. The link is in the comments to check out the Scotty and Motty podcast if you want to see more of them. There's also we'll put that in the description as well. So if you're not watching live, you can still go and check that out. Thank you for coming on, mate. Thank you for persevering with me, even though I'm not Jay and I never will be. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in a bit.
Who is Jay?